My name is Lukas Eriksen. Today we're going to find out 5 things that you should get as a filmmaker when you're starting out. Yeah, let's roll that intro. So back when I started my journey as a filmmaker, it was really hard for me to find and decipher the things I needed to get and the things I didn't need to get. So this is why I'm making this video today, and pretty much just to clear things up with you guys, the things that I think are most essential to the filmmaking process when you're starting out. So yeah, today I found 5 things which I think everyone should get when they're starting out as a filmmaker. If you do end up enjoying this video, just smash that like button and subscribe for weekly content. But I think let's dive in and have a look at these 5 objects. So first off, I'm not going to include a camera in this video just because that is a whole different discussion, and it's a kind of obvious thing that you need as for filmmaking. I mean, you can use your phone, but a camera is just always going to give you a better result. So in no particular order, let's get right into this. So one of the most important things when you are editing is an external hard drive. This may sound like a bit of a weird thing to put in a top 5 essential things when you're a filmmaker, but honestly, when you're editing, you guys are going to need lots and lots of space. This may sound as a bit of a weird thing to put on this list, as let's be real here, no one actually likes spending money on storage, on SD cards, on hard drives. It's not fun to spend money on that because you would rather just be actually filmmaking and getting tools which will improve your filmmaking. But to be honest, having lots of space when you're editing is just freedom, and you guys are going to need that when you're editing. When you're editing high resolution videos, like I'm shooting in 4K right now, it takes massive files, and if that was all stored on my local drive, my storage would be up in like a day. So yeah, definitely recommend getting that. It's 2 terabytes and it really does the job well. You can get an SSD as well because it's really going to speed things up. So maybe consider that as well, but for your best bang for your buck, you're probably still off just getting a regular hard drive. But if you really want high speeds, I definitely recommend going the SSD route, even if it is a bit more expensive. So moving on to our next expense, let's talk about microphones. Now, good audio is essential. I would almost argue it's more essential than video in videography. I don't know why, but it is like that. And this is why you really need to invest in some good microphones. Now, I'm shooting with a lavalier mic right now. It's right here, you might be able to see it. Let's just hide that away again. But yeah, so I recommend getting good audio if it's a shotgun mic, if it's a lavalier mic. Just definitely recommend going for a quality option, as if you're gonna go for the cheap options, yes, there are some great cheap options out there, but more often than not, you're better off going for the name brands like Rode or Sennheiser or Audio-Technica or just something like that, that really make high quality microphones. So yeah, I have the Video Mic Go and this Rode Smart Love, and they're both from Rode obviously. And they really do the job well. And I'm gonna make a whole video about microphones in the future. Maybe we've already done it, who knows. But yeah, so both my microphones really do the job well. If you wanna go out and buy a non-branded microphone, I don't know, that's your choice. But I personally recommend you guys go with a name brand. So that's my opinion on the matter, but it might change in the future depending if there's any big revelations in the audio world. But let's move on to our next object. So next up is a tripod. Now the story here with budget options is a bit different because the quality of the tripod isn't really going to change how good your video is going to look in the end, if you know what I'm saying. So when you're starting out, I wouldn't recommend going out and buying a $300 tripod, as it's not going to really improve your videography at all. So I recommend going with a cheap option, something that you just see on Amazon or eBay, or even just in a local camera store. I don't recommend going splurging out on maybe a Manfrotto or something like that. They're definitely good for higher end options, but I reckon when you're starting out, it's not essential and you're probably best spending your money on other spots. But yeah, that's my opinion on the matter. So yeah, I've got this random tripod here from, I don't even know, I think I got it with my camera when I bought it. It really does the job well, and I haven't really needed anything better. I have a fluid head, which I do occasionally screw on top of it when I'm trying to get some nice fluid pans. But other than that, it's not really essential to have a really expensive tripod. So yeah, tripod is definitely one of the essentials because you're going to want to have your camera stable at all times, and that's obviously what you need when you're filmmaking. Like right now, I'm shooting on that tripod. So I recommend you guys go out and maybe just buy a cheap tripod, as it's going to really improve your stuff. Now when you're filming, you're generally going to try and find lenses with low apertures, as this is going to give you really nice shallow depth of field. Now again, you guys aren't always going to use shallow depth of field, but for most of the time you probably are, and this is why I recommend getting a lens which has a low aperture of like 1.8, 1.4, something in that region, because it's going to give you really, really nice bokeh. And again, when it comes to budget options, there's actually heaps out there for lenses. So I'm shooting on a Samyang 14mm t3.1 lens, which translates to about f2.8. This is actually not a very low aperture. but it still gets me a nice image, but I'll definitely in the future upgrade to a lens which has a lower aperture. So when you're starting out, definitely recommend you guys go out, maybe go on eBay, maybe find a nice vintage lens, because they usually come with really nice bokeh or blur. But yeah, so there's lots of budget options out there. It's just a matter of researching and finding the best one. So let's move on to the next object. Moving on to our final object, and that is probably the most important thing, is getting spare batteries. Now, again, batteries doesn't sound like the most exciting thing to have, but the reality is that you're gonna need spare batteries. So whether you're shooting for a day or for just an hour, you're gonna need more juice regardless. Haha. Is the video 10 minutes yet? Now my camera, the Sony a6500, actually allows portable charging. So if your camera does allow portable charging, I definitely recommend going portable charger route, as it's going to allow you to have one big battery where you can charge it up and then you can charge up your camera for the whole day. So if you did enjoy today's video, please let me know by smashing that like button and subscribing for more weekly content. Let me know in the comments down below what other things that I might have forgot or that you got at the start which you really think worked out for you and that gave you great value when you were filmmaking. So that's about it for today's video, and goodbye.